Good afternoon. Today is Monday, February 23rd, 2026. This is an adjudicatory hearing before the Massachusetts Gaming Commission relative to the suitability of Benjamin Winston as an individual qualifier for Blue Tarp reDevelopment LLC, the Category 1 Region B gaming licensee, which does business as MGM Springfield. Mr. Winston has been designated as a qualifier due to his position with parent company MGM Resorts International. My name is Jordan Maynard, and I am the chair of the commission. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Commissioners Eileen O'Brien, Brad Hill, Nikisha Skinner, and Paul Broder. The entire commission will preside over the hearing and decision of this matter. This hearing will be conducted in accordance with 205 CMR 101.01, the informal fair hearing rules outlined in 801 CMR 1.02 and Chapter 38 of the Massachusetts General Laws. This hearing is being conducted via remote collaboration technology and is being recorded. Before we begin, I would like to explain the process that will govern this proceeding, as well as this matter's procedural history. First, a notice of hearing dated April 10th, 2025 was issued to the parties, noticing a hearing scheduled for May 8th, 2025. Prior to the hearing, the commission continued this hearing date upon the request of the IEB. An amended notice of hearing dated January 15, 2026 was issued to the parties, noticing the hearing we are here for today. As before, the amended notice identified the issues that this hearing is intended to address. Specifically, the commission will focus on its review on whether the facts presented constitute clear and convincing evidence that the suitability standards set out in General Law, Chapter 23K, Section 12 and 16, and 205 CMR 115.01, Subsection 1, have been met. There are two parties before us today, and each are represented by legal counsel. I will ask that Attorney Kennedy and then Attorney Nozel please identify yourselves and your teams and advise the commission to whom everyone represents as applicable. Let's start with Attorney Kennedy. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Nathaniel Kennedy on behalf of the IEB. Also present today for the IEB is IEB Director Caitlin Monahan, Deputy IEB Director and Chief Enforcement Counsel Kathleen Kramer, Lieutenant Scott Walker and Trooper Julio Perez of the Massachusetts State Police, along with Financial Investigation Chief Monica Chang and Financial Investigator Stephanie Butler. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to present this IEB's report for Mr. Winston.
Thank you, Attorney Kennedy. Now, Attorney Nozel.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jed Nozel on behalf of Ben Winston in connection with his capacity as a qualifier for MGM Resorts International. I'm also joined by Pat Madamba, Senior Vice President and Legal Counsel for MGM Resorts International, as well as Leah O'Neill, Legal Counsel also with MGM Resorts International.
Thank you both. At the conclusion of my opening comments, this proceeding will commence with opening remarks. Each party will be offered an opportunity to make a statement, though it's not required to do so. After opening statements, we will move to the presentation of the evidence in this matter. The IEB will be called upon to present its findings as described in the investigation report and the supplemental investigation report. Any commissioner may ask any question of anyone presenting information at any point during or following the presentation. At the conclusion of the IEB's presentation, Mr. Winston, through counsel, will be afforded an opportunity to ask questions of any individual who presented information on behalf of the IEB relative to any matter addressed in the investigation report or supplemental investigation report, or to which they spoke. At the conclusion of the IEB's presentation, Mr. Winston will be given the same opportunity to make a presentation. He may call any witnesses and present any evidence he desires. The Commission has directed in the amended notice of hearing that at minimum, Mr. Winston be available if called upon to testify at this hearing. I will note that he is present today. Additionally, the Commission will require any of the IEB investigators to testify as to their findings. Either party may raise any objection it desires at any time. However, the basis for such objection shall be clearly stated. Finally, at the conclusion of the presentations of all the evidence, the IEB and Mr. Winston will be provided an opportunity to make closing remarks, summing up their view of the evidence. Again, this is optional. Before we begin, I understand there are exhibits for consideration, at this hearing that have been exchanged by the parties in advance. Those exhibits are as follows. Exhibit 1 will be the notice of hearing dated April 10th, 2025. Exhibit 2 will be the amended notice of hearing dated January 16th, 2026. Exhibit 3 will be the IEB's investigation report dated March 12th, 2025. And Exhibit 4 will be the IEB's supplemental investigation report dated January 20th, 2026. Are there any objections to any of these exhibits being marked and entered into evidence?
No objection from the IAB.
No objection from Mr. Winston.
Thank you. Those exhibits shall be admitted. If either party would like to have any additional documents entered into evidence during the course of the hearing, please ensure that they are properly introduced and marked for the record. The Commission anticipates that its inquiry at this proceeding will be related to the matters addressed in the investigation report and supplemental investigation report and contained in the amended notice of hearing. If a line of questioning conducted by the Commission moves into an area that has not been included in the report or notice, but that is material to the final determination of this matter, any party may request a recess in the proceeding to review the issue. The Commission will deliberate privately and make a final decision at the conclusion of the evidentiary portion of the hearing. The written decision will be issued as promptly as possible. If at any point during the Commission's deliberations, it determines that further testimonial or documentary evidence is desirable, it reserves the right to ask for the appropriate party to provide such evidence prior to a final decision being made. We will now swear in all the witnesses. Counsel, are all the individuals you anticipate presenting testimony in this matter present on this call?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. If there's anyone who is not present, but they'll come on later, it's up to you to alert the Commission that they have yet to be placed under oath, and we'll do so at that time. Anyone who will be testifying at this proceeding, please raise your right hand. Let me click through, make sure we got everybody. Mr. Winston, you may want to raise your right hand too. Do you all solemnly swear that the testimony you will provide before the Commission at this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you. I'll confirm that everyone has responded in the affirmative. Given the nature of a suitability review, there is necessarily a significant amount of personal or commercially sensitive information that the Commission is being called upon to consider. The public discussion of such information may result in an unwarranted invasion of the individual's personal privacy or may place an entity at a competitive disadvantage if such information were to be publicly disclosed. For the Commission to be able to effectively and diligently execute its legal obligations prior to making a suitability finding, it must be at liberty to fully inquire relative to any of these sensitive matters without compromising the individuals or entities involved. To do otherwise would be, at a minimum, unfair and potentially unlawful. Accordingly, my colleagues and I may elect to exercise the discretion afforded in accordance with 205 CMR 101.01, paragraph 7, to close this proceeding to the public to fully address certain matters related to privacy, proprietary, or sensitive information, or for any other good cause shown. Mr. Winston may also request that portions of this hearing be closed to the public. Any such request must clearly state the reason for which the Commission is being asked to close the proceeding. Before we begin, it's my understanding that pre-hearing conferences were held on April 17th, 2025, and more recently on January 27th, 2026, with representatives of the applicant, the IEB, and our legal department, at which procedural and evidentiary issues were discussed. Do either of the parties have any preliminary issues or objections they would like to raise?
No, Chair, not on behalf of Mr. Winston. You noted, obviously, the option of, or I guess the discretion to go into a confidential session or closed session if necessary. So we'll try to monitor that as we go through. I understand the IEB's presentation will be of a traditional nature that I don't expect it'll get into anything of that nature, but we'll monitor it, and if we need to, just request we pause in order to preserve any privacy or commercially sensitive information.
Thank you, Attorney Nozel. You know the drill better than anyone else. So if something comes up, let us know and we will take it up and take a vote.
The only preliminary matter that I'd like to address is putting on the record whether the parties stipulate to the reports.
Okay.
Chairman, we have no objection to the report. We've reviewed it, have no corrections to it, and agree or stipulate to it being entered into the record for use by the commission in this proceeding.
All right. Thank you, Attorney Nozel. We will note that. Thank you, Councilor Kennedy, for pointing that out. With that, I will ask Attorney Nozel to please proceed with any opening remarks he would like to make on behalf of Mr. Winston.
Thank you, Chair. We're going to waive the opening, but to say that we're obviously pleased to be here. Mr. Winston's prepared to answer questions that the Commission may have pertaining to his background, and we appreciate the work of the IEB over the past year in order to get this matter scheduled and before the Commission.
Thank you, Attorney Nozel. I will note that we'll mark those, the original investigation and the supplemental, as exhibits 3 and 4. So thank you. With that, we will now turn to Attorney Kennedy and ask that you make any introductory remarks you'd like to make, and then you can move directly into your presentation.
Thank you, Chair. I would be waiving any opening remarks, and I'll move directly into our presentation. First, thanking Financial Investigations Chief Monica Chang and Financial Investigator Stephanie Butler, along with Trooper Julio Perez, for their work on this investigation. Benjamin Winston is a qualifier for Category 1 casino licensee Blue Tarp reDevelopment LLC, doing business as MGM Springfield. Mr. Winston has submitted all of the required forms and complied with all of the IEB's requests for supplemental and updated information during the course of this investigation. The IEB has also interviewed Mr. Winston, who has been cooperative and forthcoming through the entire process. In keeping with the IEB's established protocols for background review of casino qualifiers, we verified identity, confirmed financial stability and integrity, reviewed litigation history, searched criminal history, verified that no prohibited political contributions were made in Massachusetts, and conducted checks of open source and law enforcement databases. Mr. Winston is a member of the Board of Directors for MGM Resorts International, the parent company of Massachusetts Category 1 casino licensee Blue Tarp reDevelopment LLC, doing business as MGM Springfield. Mr. Winston does not report to any individual within MGM RI or MGM Springfield. His focus is on entertainment offerings of MGM RI, and he provides advice and guidance to management. Mr. Winston has a bachelor's degree in broadcasting from the University of Leeds in West Yorkshire, United Kingdom. His work experience includes working as a consultant and partner at Full Wool 73 Productions, as an executive producer at CBS Television, an associate producer at RDF Media, and now partial owner and co-CEO of Full Wool Entertainment LLC. During the investigation, the IEB learned of a merger between Mr. Winston's company, Full Wool 73, with Spring Hill Company LLC, which occurred in January 2025. The IEB conducted a review of this merger, including a review of the transaction itself and individuals included in the transaction. The summary has been included in what's been marked as the IEB's report, Exhibit 4. At the time of his interview and authoring of the report marked as Exhibit 3, Mr. Winston disclosed that he did not hold any gaming licenses in any jurisdiction, but has been involved with filing of license applications in various jurisdictions based on his appointment to the Board of Directors. Ultimately, the investigation did not uncover any derogatory information that would indicate that Mr. Winston lacks the requisite financial stability, integrity, or background to be deemed suitable in accordance with the criteria listed in Massachusetts gaming laws and regulations. The IEB therefore recommends the Commission issue a positive determination of suitability, and this concludes the IEB's presentation for Mr. Winston's suitability. I would submit our team for any questions the Commission may have.
Thank you, Councilor Kennedy. Do any commissioners have any questions for Attorney Kennedy or other members of the IEB relative to the presentation? Commissioner O'Brien.
Thank you. Just following up particularly on the supplemental investigation. Just looking for affirmation that nothing in the responses and what you did there gives you any hesitation in recommending suitability.
Upon review, it did not change the IEB's recommendation for suitability, no.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Brien. Any other questions?
Chair, I have a question.
Commissioner Skinner.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am fully acknowledging the IEB's finding and recommendation of positive determination. What was the circumstance, under what circumstances did the IEB learn of the merger with Fullwell?
May direct that question to CEC Kramer.
I believe this was a disclosure that was made, I think through counsel for Mr. Winston. We learned of it, and perhaps Monica can refresh my memory if I'm speaking out of turn, but my understanding is we did get a notification. Upon getting the notification, that's when we requested a bit more time to look at it based on the timing of the original hearing, but it was through a notification.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's great.
If I may, Commissioner Skinner, just briefly, just the chronology here. We were getting ready to bring this matter, I think, for a hearing earlier in 2025 when we were preparing and going over the materials and looking at the report, which I think was originally issued in 2024. We noticed that matter was not in front of the commission, and so we made a self-disclosure of that. And then cooperated as Commissioner Kennedy with any follow-up review that they wanted to do.
Okay, perfect. I asked that question because there appears, and I mean no disrespect to Mr. Winston, to be a couple of instances where there was not disclosure of some financials. It's identified in the report, I think, a couple of credit cards and a mortgage. So I wanted to see if the IEB had any reaction to that failure to disclose. And again, part of my terminology, if it wasn't a failure to disclose, but it did not seem that it was disclosed in the application, at least per what is in the IEB report.
There was no concern. There was follow-up requests made and information. I think Financial Investigator Butler can confirm this. Any supplemental requests that were made were complied with. There was, I believe that was remedied, but we did make that footnote, yes. Is that correct,
Okay.
Steph?
Yes, that's correct. I agree.
And Commissioner, I don't think there's been any suggestion at any point that there's been a sort of a failure to disclose. I think there were routine updates that were done through collecting additional information. Obviously, there's a massive amount of information that's ended up transferred to the IEB in connection with these investigations. And again, as we learned additional information of what additional information that we felt was necessary to disclose to the IEB over the term of this investigation and review, we've disclosed it. So again, I know you're sensitive to the term, and I just want to be careful with that word failure as well.
Yeah, understood. Which is why I tried to couch my question in the way that I did, Attorney Nozzle. Thank you. My last question is just seeking confirmation from the IEB that, or from Mr. Winston, actually. I know that he has stated that he has not personally paid out any settlements of any amount, but wanting to confirm that no settlements have been paid out through any established LLC or other financial vehicle, because that was not clarified in the report.
Attorney Nozzle.
I'm not entirely sure of the question, Commissioner Skinner. I know Mr. Winston has completed the supplemental, which goes through those questions. I don't think the IEB had any concerns with any of the answers on that. I'm not sure what additional affirmation that you're looking for here.
Okay, I can clarify, and maybe this question is best directed to the IEB. On page 1, 2, 3 of the report at the bottom, the
report or the supplemental report, Commissioner?
It's the initial reports. The last sentence on that page says Mr. Winston stated that he personally has not paid out any settlements of any amount. And I am just looking for confirmation from the IEB or Mr. Winston that there have not been any settlements paid out through any established LLC or any other financial vehicle. Because it's not clear. It's not clear there. In those last couple of sentences.
Commissioner Skinner, I can direct you to the previous line that does indicate he was asked if he had personally or through any established LLC or any other financial vehicle paid out any other settlement or any other amount, and that he had not paid out those.
No, I see that. But then the concluding sentence in the response that Mr. Winston gave, it does specify personally. So I just want to make sure that it is all encompassing in his response, that neither personally nor through any business endeavor or financial instrument.
Yes, and Mr. Winston or Attorney Nozel, I think you just have to confirm that, but the IB's report, I believe, is reflective of that, that there was no settlements paid out. I don't believe there were any reported settlements.
Okay, then I'll accept that. Thank you very much. Those are all my questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Skinner.
Thank you, Commissioner Skinner. I see that Commissioner Broder and then Commissioner Hill had their mutes off.
To Commissioner Skinner's question, I understand where she's coming from because the language of the report is posting kind of a Q&A and it's a paraphrase, and what it specifically says as a response or within the language of the report has not personally paid. So there is some like prefatory language, if you will, that mentions any other entity. I think the easiest thing to do to put this to bed is simply say, reiterate, not, well, the report is accurate. It's to say, yes, I have not, or if it's you, Jed, Mr. Winston has not paid through an LLC or other entity any type of settlement that's referred to in the question. Does that make sense?
Sure, Commissioner. It's my understanding that is the case, that no settlement has been paid by Mr. Winston personally or on his behalf through an LLC. If Mr. Winston would like to comment further on that or confirm that, he's certainly free here to do that as well.
Yeah, hello everyone. Happy to confirm that. My only slight hesitation was simply I've run at Fullwell 73 for 21 years, and I wanted to just double check with our team that we've never had to pay out an employee or anything of that matter. We probably make 1,000 hours of television every single year. And so therefore, whether it was a security guard or, I wanted to double check. But to my knowledge, as far as I'm aware, there has never been any settlements. I have definitely not paid some. I would like to triple check the 20-year history of our production company that does 200 television shows a year, that there's never been any issues on that. So I confirm that with a slight permission to just double check that with our entire history of our company. That's what I'd say.
And be clear, Mr. Winston, for the commission's benefit, but also for your benefit, if you don't say it like that, it leaves a potential person going,
for sure.
Is that gobbledygook? Is he hiding the ball? And you're clearly not.
No, nothing being hidden, and nothing being hidden, and no settlements paid at all, as far as I'm aware, within my quite large company. But I will double check on all of that.
Appreciate that. And question for the IEB around the supplemental report. There's mention of the subsequent inquiry based on the merger and looking into the merger. And there's a gentleman named Carter referenced in there. My only question is he at all affiliated with MGM or an MGM affiliate? If you know.
No, he's just his only involvement was through that portion of our investigation. The connection through Fullwell, that he is not an MGM component here.
Awesome. All right, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have until we hear from the applicant.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Broder. Commissioner Hill.
Mr. Chairman, everything has been brought up that I would have brought up, so I'm all set.
Go back to Commissioner O'Brien. I see her mute's off.
It was a follow-up to Commissioner Broder that maybe the appropriate recitation of the answer should be either directly or indirectly. You know, not even limiting it to LLCs, right? But saying has neither personally nor directly or indirectly had to pay. Just going forward, it might be a little more clarity in the reports.
Yeah, yeah, and it sounds like Attorney Nosel's happy to encapsulate that and send it over to us as a supplemental that as we do our deliberations.
Yeah, again, this is a fairly limited question, if I understand this, in connection with payments on behalf through an LLC or indirectly in connection with any on behalf of Mr. Winston in connection with any type of allegations against him. So I don't. So we're happy to double check that, and I'm fairly confident in the answer, and we will follow up accordingly if there's any need to supplement here, but I don't think that is the case, again, based on Mr. Winston's answer. And also, he's indicating, is there settlements or litigation in connection with, all of his business interests? I think that's a different separate question than what this very discrete sort of area is looking for, as I understand the application and the information sought there.
I'm happy for your clarification there, because regarding myself or me, I can confirm there's never been anything. I was talking specifically about companies I've been involved in potentially, but that's, regarding me, absolutely not.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Winston, for that clarification.
Chair,
Commissioner Skinner.
just jumping in, Attorney Nozel, that was precisely the premise of my question. And thank you to my colleagues for the assist in drawing out the information that I was seeking.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Commissioner Skinner. Any other questions from the commissioners? All right. Does Mr. Winston have any questions for Attorney Kennedy or any members of the IEB relative to the presentation, Attorney Nozel?
We do not have any questions for the IEB.
All right, then we're going to kick it over to you to please proceed with any presentation you may have.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have Mr. Winston here available to answer any questions that the Commission may have. Obviously, you have a report in front of you indicating the IEB's finding that Mr. Winston has met his burden by substantial, clear and convincing evidence of his suitability through demonstrating this process. We do have two additional updates to make to the Commission. Again, over time, the pendency of this investigation, there are two additional items we just wanted to make the Commission aware of. We previously disclosed these to the IEB as well. We thought the best thing to do after Mr. Winston introduces himself to both let the Commission know about these two additional items in connection with his background investigation out of an abundance of caution and certainly transparency for the Commission. So with that, Mr. Winston, I'll ask you just to introduce yourself and maybe do those two quick updates.
Sure. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you all. Some we've met before. Firstly, thank you for all your time. I appreciate it. I can imagine going through all of these documents on my behalf is a taxing thing. So thank you very much. A real honor to meet you all. The two updates were similar to what Commissioner Skinner was saying earlier. Just to clarify on the merger that you speak of, that was never not disclosed. It happened during this process. We merged once this investigation had already started. So there was nothing to tell at the beginning of it. It happened very, very quickly and suddenly. The two new things that I just wanted everyone to just be aware of, because I like to disclose everything, was my wife and I have just bought a new house. Happy to privately, offline, rather than live streaming, tell you all more information about it. But we bought a new house, so that is not updated. That only happened 2 months ago. And also I've taken a new board position in September of last year. It was announced that I'm the non-executive director now of Arsenal Football Club, the English Premier League team. That I've been a lifelong fan of since I was 5 years old. And so I am now a non-exec director of that. And so wanted you all to be aware of those two very new elements in my life that I don't think will have any bearing on anything we're talking about today, but wanted to be full disclosure about those two things. Apart from that, Jed, unless there's anything that I'm missing that you think I should talk about. It's very nice to see you all. Happy to be here and answer any questions that you guys may have.
I'm not shocked that people don't put their lives on hold for our determinations, Mr. Winston. So congratulations on the new house and that new board position. It sounds fun. Commissioners, any question? I know we had questions for Mr. Winston earlier, but any additional questions for Mr. Winston? Commissioner Broder and then Commissioner O'Brien.
I think these are fairly benign questions. So within the report, within the material we've been able to review, you are, president or the director of a whole bunch of entities. It seems like they are all related to what I'm going to describe as your primary business, and you tell me if I'm wrong, is in the film industry and creative filmmaking and production and that. Is that correct? Is everything I said right?
That's correct. Yes. The way our company would work is that when you have a specific television show, so I run the Kardashians or the Grammy Awards or various things, we will often have an entity that encompasses that production because it's much cleaner. It's good for the auditing of it, for the running of it, and also there'll be different ownership parts to each television or film production we do. So it's a very common thing. They'll all be under the umbrella of Fulwell Entertainment, but that's why my name is listed on so many companies. They are specific to the shows that I run under the company of Fulwell Entertainment.
I assume that was the case, and that's why I asked. It's not unlike in real estate world, which I really don't know a heck of a lot about, but you might see a separate LLC for every project, right? For the reasons you described, different context, but for a lot of very legitimate business reasons. The only other thing I'm wondering about, and this isn't real, a business question first is, so you are board member of MGM writ large. Is it fair to say that your service to MGM, your contributions likely won't be focused on gaming specifically? It seems, given the wide nature of business interests that MGM writ large has, that I suspect your primary value to the organization is your film and entertainment background.
I think that'd be fair. I would say that it's, as a board member, I take my responsibilities to the shareholders incredibly seriously and therefore oversee all matters that are involved with MGM Resorts. However, as a company that has as many theaters and entertainment venues as MGM does, I think at one point they were sort of the third or fourth biggest ticket seller in America. I understand the entertainment impact that MGM Resorts can have. And so, yes, it would be fair to say that my purview is much less in gaming and much more in the entertainment offering of the entire company.
And I'm just curious, this is not, I will candidly say this is an important question, but within the materials we reviewed, it indicates you, if my memory serves, University of Leeds?
Yes.
Is that correct? And
that is correct.
Right after you graduated, you're 22, 23 years old, somebody gave you £170,000 to create what I assume was your first significant movie venture. Tell me a little bit about that. Yeah, not chapter and verse, but give me a little bit of the backstory on that.
I love that.
It sounds like a great story.
It is. It's a career-changing story for sure. I left university. I was a very ambitious television producer, filmmaker, and my three friends and I, my mum's best friend's two children, who are still my partners at Fulwell today, and their first cousin, who's also still my partner at Fulwell today. So we've been together nearly 20 years. We had an idea for a film, and we went to the British Film Council. And at that time, they gave grants to young filmmakers with ideas, and we got £10,000. And we made a sizzle, a pilot, a 15-minute, let me show you what we can do, proof of concept film. and we were real guerrilla filmmakers. We were super ambitious, but we went out onto the streets of London. We made this taster tape, this sizzle reel. And then we found a filmmaker called Gary Signor, who was quite a well-known filmmaker at the time. He loved the idea of the movie. He loved what we were trying to do. He loved that tape that we'd made with that £10,000. And he put us in front of 3 or 4 investors and a lady called Rebecca Green, who invested in British filmmakers at the time. She believed in the idea and she put £170,000 into the movie. We then went and shot it. We traveled all over the globe. We then needed another 100K or so to finish it. But luckily by that time, the film was made and Lionsgate became our distributor of that movie. It became the biggest release ever of a UK documentary in cinema history. And so that was the launch of Full Well 73. That's how we started.
Is that film out in the world somewhere where
it is? It's called In the Hands of
People could take a look.
Yeah, it's called In the Hands of the Gods. Somebody asked me this week, funnily enough, if you can get it in America, and I think you can on DVD, but no one has DVDs anymore, so I don't know how you'd watch it. Yes, it came out in 2000. We filmed it in 2006. It came out in 2007. It came on DVD in 2008, and that's what launched our company. And it was a soccer-based.
Thank you for. Oh, no kidding. I appreciate you indulging the question.
Oh, I love the
arguably
question.
Not directly on point.
I
appreciate it. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you for your answer, Mr. Winston. Commissioner O'Brien.
So first, congrats on the Arsenal. I think it must be a dream job.
It truly is.
The question or two that I have, and Attorney Knows, you tell me if it's more appropriate for a private session, had to do with the supplemental report in terms of the due diligence and the rationale for looking into or not looking into. Mr. Carter. And
yeah, I would
go into private session if you'd rather.
I think if we're going to talk about sort of the formation of the business or any of the reason or any of the background on how it was done, what was done in order to consummate the transaction or things along those lines, yes, I'd request that it be done in closed session. As you know, that would involve commercially sensitive information. This is not a publicly traded company. That information is not available publicly. I think it's covered by 205 CMR 101.017, which allows you the discretion to go into closed session for the purposes of a hearing here. And I'd request that we do that to the extent that you have some more detailed questions about that transaction.
Right. It's not a lot, but I have a few, and I thought that might be the position that you have. And I'm fine with that.
Thank
I don't know how fellow commissioners feel.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Brien. I'm happy to, obviously we always allow commissioners to get their questions answered. What I will do is in order to try to keep it all clean, I may try to get everything out that's in public, and then let's save that, because I think I'm looking at council, but I think we can close Jenna out of that session, right? Correct?
Well, I believe that there will be closing statements by both parties. I would presume to that extent. I would suggest just coming back into public session before going into deliberation. So
got it. All right, so let's do that. Let's ask commissioners any more questions better suited to this forum. Commissioner Skinner.
Thank you. This is a pretty formed question. I don't expect the answer to be anything other than no. But at the time of application and interview, there were a number of applications pending in other jurisdictions. Have any of those applications been denied?
No.
I didn't hear that. Sorry.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Commissioner Skinner. Commissioners, any other questions before we entertain going into the correct term, private session?
Closed session.
Closed session.
That's correct.
One of these days, I'm going to have someone write a treatise on the difference between executive, closed, and private, in which case I still won't accept the rationale. All right. So for the questions that Commissioner O'Brien raised regarding scope around one of the people mentioned in the report, do we want to enter into session for that? I'm perfectly fine doing so, commissioners. I don't think we need a formal vote, just majority. All right. Connor, can you move us in? Thank you. Okay, Connor, I think we can pull this down. We're coming back into the room. Just making sure everyone's here. Okay. All right, we just finished a robust private session. We're entering back in. Any other further questions from the commissioners, Mr. Winston? Does the IEB have any questions for Mr. Winston?
No questions.
All right. Now that we've heard all the evidence in this matter, before we move to closing remarks, I'd like to turn to my fellow commissioners once again to make sure there are no further sensitive or confidential issues that anyone would like to explore. All right. We will now proceed to closing remarks. Each of the parties will be afforded an opportunity to make a statement, summing up their position, though they need not do so. Would Mr. Winston like to proceed with any remarks?
Just briefly, Chair, first to thank you and the members of the commission for your time today. Obviously, the IEB for its time in connection with the investigation that was done. Mr. Winston, as noted in the report and here again today, cooperated fully with the commission's investigation. The IEB has recommended that he be found suitable, and we believe we've met our burden of clear and convincing evidence through that report and the testimony given here today, and we'd ask for that finding. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Attorney Kennedy, any closing remarks?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'd just like to reiterate that the IAB has conducted a thorough investigation into Mr. Winston and recommends that the Commission issue a positive determination of suitability. I'd like to thank again all the members of the IAB team that participated in the investigation, Mr. Winston and Mr. Nozel for their transparency and cooperation to assist this process. And finally, again, thank you to the Commission for your time this afternoon.
Thank you, Councilor Kennedy. Unless there are any further matters that the parties or my fellow commissioners would like to address, we will now conclude this portion of the proceeding. Does anyone have anything further? The Commission will now deliberate about this matter in private. We are adjourned. Thank you, Mr. Winston. Thank you, Jed and Team MGM.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.
We're adjourned. Thank you.